Uh-oh. Oh, wait! I'm in it! I'm in it! Come here! Yeah! Woo! Oh, man! Woo! Listen, I know how much you love Mega Man Battle Network. It's a great series, but it's also kind of old. You know exactly what to expect. I am pleased to say that Duelists of Eden, which came out extremely recently, is an amazing successor to Mega Man Battle Network, especially for PvP. If you like the single-player experience of Mega Man Battle Network, I would definitely check out One Step from Eden, which came out a few years ago. But whatever, Duelists of Eden is out, and it's only $5 with Rollback Netcode. Are you serious? This game is extremely good. It's got a very high frame rate with the 8-bit aesthetic that makes the game look really great, but as far as the actual gameplay goes, that is where things really shine. You basically build a deck of 8 different cards, and you can cycle between them, but you only get 2 cards to use at a time. You've also got a lot of different mechanics. For example, you can use a buster or have a sub-weapon as well. Those are going to vary between all the different characters that you can get, and there are many to choose from. Basically, you have one main attack that's going to be kind of your bread and butter, and there's also, I guess you could call it a crowd control weapon. It's not really a great definition to use because, of course, it's a 1v1 game, but it's basically going to be a weapon that's more effective as the opponent moves around like crazy. And this really matters too because mana is a thing in this game, and your regular buster does use mana, so you don't really want to be spamming it. Of course, stronger cards are going to use more mana, so being able to be efficient with it is extremely important, and that also plays into how you dodge. You can, of course, move around like crazy, but you can also use an actual dodge action. It's kind of like in Super Smash Bros. When you have your shield and press down. However, it does cost 1 full mana to get a good brief time of invincibility, but you can also use a regular shield too. If you don't end up using it, it does slowly recharge, so you can go through alternating between actually using the shield and not and slowly get it back. However, if your shield gets broken, and poorly, I'm using my mana very poorly. Oh, it broke! Oh, get broken! Oh, what? Oh, go! Get the kill! Yeah, what? Oh, man, I'm popping off. I'm sorry. Oh, man. This game is so fun. What the heck? Wow. Just like Smash Bros, you will be prone and vulnerable to all sorts of attacks, so it's a little bit tricky to use in that regard. Still, it's really cool to see that there's so many different ways to evade the enemy, and of course, the game is extremely fast-paced. Unlike Battle Network, you're not pausing the menu in the custom screen to select new chips. This is both a good thing and a bad thing. It's really fun to watch because it's extremely fast-paced and frenetic. It's also really intense. There is a huge skill ceiling when it comes to this game, for better or for worse. As a newer player, I definitely found myself getting overwhelmed at first, not really knowing what cards do, looking at my opponent's card icons and not really knowing what they mean. There's a lot of information that's available that you don't really know how to parse through, but honestly, I didn't really mind that much because I got paired up with other players who were similar to my skill level, and the CPUs do a pretty decent job as well of fighting through it. So as long as you're not too concerned about winning right away or being the best you can be, as long as you've got patience and you really invest a lot of time in it, you will see dividends get paid off in spades. I know that there were a lot of really strong players who were playing all throughout the beta testing process. I'm really curious to see what builds they think are best. And that's another thing to talk about too. I know I said earlier how all the different characters have different busters and sub-weapons to choose from, but there's also a huge variety of cards, and this was something that I was kind of concerned about. I was thinking to myself, well, how do you actually acquire these cards, right? I think most games that have a system like this, you're going to have to grind in some way, whether you're fighting enemies to S-rank the opponents like in Battle Network, or maybe it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering where you've got booster packs to open up. No, nothing like that. As far as I can tell, once you hit level 10, which is really easy by the way, you have access to every single card in the entire game at your disposal. That means that there's no gatekeeping whatsoever when it comes to actually using the best cards, and it also means that you don't have to worry about power level of cards that much, right? You don't have to worry about a mythic rare being extremely powerful and desired and sought after. No, you just get to use them right away. In fact, I would say the game does a really good job of making almost every card viable. Obviously, not every single card is viable, but the weaker cards are going to be cards that you use in starter decks that you can kind of use to get yourself accustomed to, and then you can kind of, dip your toes into more archetypes and things like that. The game is extremely fun to play. Again, it is super
fast-paced with a huge skill ceiling, but that's what also makes it so rewarding to dive deep into it. In fact, I've heard from the developer TM Kang that there are a lot of titles you can get from playing in tournaments, and I think that'd be something really fun for us to do, right? I know you know me from Mega Man Battle Network 6 PvP tournaments, but honestly, I love this game. I had an absolute blast playing through it. I've only had about 3 hours into it, but I can see myself sinking in a ton of time and getting really excited about DLC updates and all sorts of new tweaks that might go down with different types of cards. And again, gang, the game is only $5 in this economy. Are you kidding me? You can't even get a Big Mac at McDonald's for $5 nowadays. And you can get one purchase that will set you up for the rest of the game. I think that that is an absolute steal, especially for any fan of Mega Man Battle Network. I think we should absolutely show our support to games in this genre. I think it does a great job of iterating upon BN and taking a lot of those gameplay elements that we know and love while also doing something really unique and different with it. I really like the aspect of having only 2 cards to select at a time, and also knowing when to reshuffle and deal with your new hand is another really cool aspect that again isn't really touched upon in the mainline games. I think Duelists of Eden is a snap purchase. I would strongly recommend it. And I'm really curious to see what you have to say, and I'm going to leave the link down below for a challenge to hear what you have to say. I have no date in mind, but I personally would love to run a Duelists of Eden tournament, and if you're interested too, definitely put in your name so that you can be informed when we have something like that going. As always, I'm Scoutmaster Demi. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you next time, Scouts.